Okay, is this thing on? Looks like it. Hi, Arlene Schiffer from MJ's Blues and Dance Club, also MJ's Handmaids, which is where I do my wire crafting. It's not necessarily jewelry, but all kinds of stuff. Today I was going to show you how to make sun catchers using leftover pieces that you might have. Pretty, yeah. There's something you can do, different colors. This is just one kind of design that I do, and these are lead crystal. This is glass, so still have a very nice effect to it, but won't give you the rainbow bling that a lead crystal will give you. So that's pretty much what I work with. I work with azure lead crystal, decently priced, most excellent quality, and it's what I prefer. And right now I'm going to show you how to put some of these together, and you can make something similar to this. My little hoods that go on. Let me show you one I just finished. I have to get up for it. I'm kind of a short person, so. Alright, this one I just finished. These are the big, I think it's a 40 millimeter, I'm not too sure. These are, I believe they're 18 or 20 millimeter. This is actually a Ches glass bead, as well as these. Not too bad. They're a good quality bead, Ches glass. And these are also Ches. These are expensive little beads. But they glow in the dark. They're a teal blue, and it's just quite a cool effect when it comes to sun catchers, because at nighttime you still have something going on. It's pretty cool. But this is my newest one. This is also this is actually Swarovski crystal. So yeah, you have a good high-end looking piece. Took me a couple of days to make, but right now I'm going to show you how I make these and the chain. I make everything for my sun catchers. Chain like this, or if you have, I'm also going to give you some tips on putting pieces together to make a chain, like just these. I make these a lot. They're really good connectors, kind of decorative, and very useful for me. And that's what we're going to get into. This will be part one of a sun catcher, chain and hook. So let's get started. I love these styles, so excuse me if I show you chandelier styles all the time. This was one of my favorites. I just love these. And I did a little bit of wire work to make it look like a leaf with that connector. And then my chain and my hook. The hook, it's just putting something together. So, yep, and those are just some of what I do. My most absolute favorite one, which needs a cleaning, so excuse its dirtiness. This is my absolute favorite. This one came out beautifully. Did it about 5-6 years ago. It's all amethyst and lead crystal. Not for window hanging. This is strictly for indoor hanging, wall decoration, because it's real gemstones. This is actually lab created, but still will fade in the sun. But this is a natural amethyst, so I won't put it in the window. But yeah, it's yellow and dingy and dirty compared to beautiful and bright and broken because I dropped it. Kidding. Nice and clean, shiny, big difference. Maybe you can't see it on camera. I don't know. I see it. Alright, so let me show you how to make hooks, which you probably might already know how to make, but it's part of the process, so bear with me. Some of them I'll hammer down the tips and I'll file them down so that nothing and nobody gets scratched. And I'll hammer it to flatten them out so they're not so bulky. But you don't have to if you don't have a hammer. I'm using, this is a 16 gauge. It's reclaimed copper wire. When it comes to my sun catchers, I don't throw my pieces away. I use every scrap piece that I may have messed up on, but still will have a beautiful design effect to the sun catchers. That this is going to be fun to use that way or that way. And I bet you can't guess what I was trying to make there. And before anybody says lotus flower, no, spider. I'm kidding, lotus. So let's get going. I'll show you how to do this style. One of this style, which you can probably figure out by just looking at them, but some people, if you're anything like me, your eyes go a little funky. And look at the different connectors I'm going to be using. Connectors. Can you believe it? But it's stuff some people would, especially if you're new, you would end up putting in a toss bag or something like that. Just hold on to them, because this is part of what you'll probably do. This is a little my shot at a music note. I'm in the music industry after all. Just a venue owner, but still. Just a venue owner. At any rate, let's get going. Not going to use beads for the connectors, not right yet. Until I show you how to do one of these, maybe. I'm going to get to that, I think. Which also pretty easy. So, my wire for 16 gauge. I do believe this is a 16 gauge round. It's reclaimed. And I'm going to also be using to keep, I use the same tool all the time. This is people call it a jump ring maker or bail creator. It's round tiers, pliers, and this is kind of a cheap pair. They're a little bit flat on the inside. You want perfectly round, but for what we're doing, it'll work. And these are kind of sturdy too, being this is a 16 gauge. I don't want to use my delicate jewelry tools. So the first thing I'm going to do, get a flat nose. I'm going to use flat nose. I'm just going to bend it back a little. That's all. So I'm going to take probably this size. This will be a good hook size to hook onto a connector. It'll fit 2 pieces around it. You can put 2 pieces through the loop if you need to. So you want to make sure so that when you put it on, you put your flat end away from the direction you're going to turn it. I'm going to go and turn it so that my flat end is going to lay flat parallel with the wire, like so. There'll be some adjusting to do. And now I didn't measure this and I didn't cut it, but just eyeballing it, I'm going to cut it, which I'm going to use my industrial heavy metal wire cutters because they're big and heavy duty. I'm going to give it enough room because that takes approximately an inch about, so I'm going to give it about an inch. Good cut. If you want to file that down, that's completely up to you. And I want this to curve this way, so it's on the opposite side of this one. So my little tag, the little foot, I'm going to bend that direction, same direction, and do the same. I'm going to hook them together. Not hook them together, but get my wire in between my pliers, the jaws, and roll it down. Thank goodness this is a nice soft wire. And we have a hook. And that'll work nicely when you open them. You want to open them. Hold it and pull a longer end. That'll open it up a little bit for you, and you can hook it onto stuff. Bloop. Works. Yay! No fail hook. Okay, so we have a hook. Let's make chain. This is actually just an infinity. If infinity, crazy 8, that's all this really is. There's different ways you can do them, and it's just this easy. Make a loop, and then using the same size, you make another, hold it on. I'll do it again with a better explanation for you. That was pretty bad. When you cut flush against the metal here, so that when you cut it, it's still going to be right there lined up. Like so. And you can close them. You need really, these are not the right pliers. These are just really expensive precision for basically prong ring setting. So silly me using them on that. But close it up. Leave one end open. Or you can close it. It's your first one. And do it again. Get your wire in between your pliers. You want to make it so that it's not really poking through. That way it's as round as possible. And just twirl it around. And no, it doesn't have to be perfect. Got it nice and twirled. Now flip your pliers around so the same size you created the first loop on is now on the outside, and then you can make the other half of your crazy 8 or infinity symbol. and roll it. Make your loop. Cut flush it up against the other wire so that they're kind of even. Again, you want to use some heavy duty wire cutters, and it's not going to be an easy task because they're, mine anyways, are I think they're for sheet metal, to be honest with you. Now I have another one. I'm going to close one end. And even though it's chain, you still don't want to scratch anybody if you're going to sell it. So try and even up the, either file them down or make sure they're lined up so that they're not going to scratch anyone. Alright, so this one's closed. Oops. Take my open one, hook it together, maybe. I'll have to open it a little bit. And same as jewelry, when you're opening up a hook or a jump ring, sideways. Don't stretch it apart because it won't go back around. So you kind of give it a bend outward. Get it on there and bring it back together. This one I need to close. And that's one way to make a chain. You can also make it let's see, I'm going to use this size. You can also do one like these. Bring it all the way so you meet down the middle. Cut it so it's even. Definitely file it. It needs to be a little more even. Whoa, Nelly. Again, tough metal. Something like this. It was a little too short, but something like this. And it's pretty hard to see that. I know I have a sample. Here's one. A little better in size. You can see how it's done, but it's like a horseshoe shape with the hooks, and they make great hooks. They just make great hooks. Take my word for it. Bloop. I use these for veils too, as a matter of fact. It's a signature look for me. I always have it so that you see these on the front. I don't know if you've seen any of my pictures on Facebook or anything, but yeah, that's pretty common for me. Very common. Anything pretty. I like to hammer stuff, so yeah, I hammer. Banging that thing all over the place. Bam, bam, bam. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I make those style hooks. Now I'd like to show you one more. These are they're not fancy or anything, but really put a nice flair to any chain or connectors or dangles of any sort. So I recommend playing and having a grand time. Again, like I said, this is going to be a connector. Can you believe that? So let's make something like this. And I have these things all over the place. I'll make something, it won't be the right size, so I put it aside. And yeah, the different sizes, they're not uniformed, or they're not perfect, and they become perfect connectors and enhancements for other things. So never throw stuff out. Okay, so let's make one. Again, the hook. I'm going to start with that. Get it in there. It's already partly curved, so I'm just going to go with the flow there. Let go. And it's pretty good. I can make it a little bit more, because these you can actually even open. Little bit there. And I don't want it to close. So again, I can even open it if it does end up that way. So it looks like it's probably going to end up that way. But I want it to be a little and leave it like that. I'm going to bring this in, and with my finger, just going to bend my wire around. I'm going to go all the way. Maybe give it some more bend. And again, they don't have to be perfect. This one's going to be a little funky looking, I think. Might be a bit pointy. And again, this doesn't matter. Your length and stuff, again, it's just decorations. You might want to try to keep as uniform as possible, but it adds to the beauty, I think. And that's going to actually be cool closed like that. Get my finger in there. When I get the loop, I should have probably done that first and gone around that. So if you find you have a better way, go for it. There's no law saying you can't. In fact, I'm kind of encouraged. I'd love to see somebody else's stuff. You know? I'm going to stop there before it's a hard wire, thick. So I'm going to stop there and just play around with it, see if I can't get it more round and appealing. But otherwise, it really, again, it's going to look like the rest of them no matter what. It's almost like it's got a little bit more appeal to me. Maybe hammer that. Some adjustments. Bloop. Yeah, I'll probably hammer that, but I like it, the design. It's different. A little different. Like mother and child almost. But that's a connector. We have all kinds of stuff growing today. And we did it together. So I hope you enjoyed this show. And join me next time. Hit the subscribe button and the follow button because I've got more. This is just the chain and connectors. I'm going to show you on the next video. I'll show you how to make these and start putting something together, and maybe wrap a bead so that you can have a nice dangle going on, or just eye hook it. Make your own eye hooks and put them on like that. Make sure your beads have a hole big enough for like a 20 gauge. You want the strength of a 20 gauge at least for these. If you're going to put a lot of weight to them, if they're just going to be like the bottom dangles and whatnot, 24, 20, 24 up to 20 will be fine. No big deal. But I hope you join me for the next video. My name's Arlene Schiffer. Have a great day.